Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching the news at 10, live on Channels Television. A reminder of our top stories. Nigerian army alleges plot by groups in the country and foreign interests to scuttle President Buhari's inauguration for a second term on May the 29th. Women groups take to the streets of the nation's capital to protest the arrest and alleged assault on girls by police in the Federal Capital Territory. Catholic Archbishop of Abuja, John Cardinal Naiko, raises concern over increasing cases of irregular migration and calls on the government to make the country home for all Nigerians. And tension rises between Israel and Palestine after militants in the Gaza Strip fired rockets into Israel, prompting the airstrike on Palestinian territory. Pt.2 has more information for you, and go to youtube.com/channelsweb to see our videos. Watch us on your mobile device via your browser or download the Channels TV app for Android and iOS devices from their respective stores. And besides giving you access to news updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app has an eyewitness feature, so use it to share those pictures, videos, or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu and follow the instructions. Make Nigeria home for all, and there will be a reduction in cases of irregular migration. These are the words of the Catholic Archbishop of Abuja, John Cardinal Naiko, who is calling on the federal government to be alive to his responsibilities. The cleric appealed to Nigerian youths to exercise patience by resisting the urge to get rich quick, which propels them to engage in irregular migration. He was addressing a news conference in Abuja ahead of the Church's national conference on the subject of irregular migration.
If you're an illegal migrant, you have no rights wherever you are. You are liable to be manipulated, to be exploited. You cannot even complain. You can't even complain if you are not being treated well. Because when you complain and go to the police, the first thing they ask you is, where are your papers? If you have no papers, then you have no local standing, you can't complain. It's terrible. It's a terrible thing to live in a nation where you are considered unwanted. And because of the difficulty of crossing these boundaries, illegal migration leads to trafficking. The first remedy, make home home. Make the home home. Make Nigeria the home of Nigerians. Not that Nigerians shouldn't go out, but let Nigerians go out when they want to and how they want to, and they go out freely and with dignity. They will not make Nigeria in such a way that home becomes uninhabitable, that you just have to want to get out. And you hear young people telling you there's no way to be better out there. If you live in a nation where your young people are telling you that it is better living elsewhere, then what kind of nation is that? If I was president of that nation, I will resign.
And talking about the deadly effect of irregular migration, we have the experience of two women who share their stories from their experience in Libya. And now they're suggesting a strong empowerment scheme which is necessary for the reintegration plan for females who have acquired vocational skills after they returned from that country. Our correspondent, Bukola Jo Oketumbi, has this report.
A Libyan aircraft rolls onto the airside of the cargo terminal of the Muritala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos. Out of its belly, another set of Nigerians emerge. They are voluntarily returning home from the troubled North African nation of Libya. Over 13,000 Nigerians have returned between April 2017 to April 2019. That's the figure from the National Emergency Management Agency. Coming back voluntarily is one step. Getting reintegrated is another. This building in the Vejuleke area of Lagos is a halfway home for female returnees.
The center was set up to provide a soft landing for returnees who avail themselves of the Assistant Voluntary Return and Reintegration Program and may have challenges with accommodation, require psychosocial support, or are in need of vocational training to enable them earn a living. From 2015 till date, The Migrant Resource Center has reintegrated no fewer than 523 persons of concern.
The home also houses a vocational center for catering, hairdressing, and tailoring. With 50 residents at the moment, 21-year-old Sandra Ogbome is the oldest resident, having lived here for over 2 years after her return from Libya.
When I was coming back from Libya, I was thinking on how to put head, because I don't want to go back to my parents just empty hand like that. I really like this place. Even most of my friends was like, let's go out from there. But I told them that I have to learn handwork, because when I travel out, I never have learned handwork.
Sandra is eager to get a form of empowerment for her to move on.
Well, since I have learned my requirements, and since I've learned my tailoring and some other things, I would like for them to empower me, for me to start up my own business.
Shukrat Yusuf is a mother of 4, a former resident here, but now a vocational trainer. She says the need to be financially empowered pushed her to experience the Libyan side of life.
It was not an easy task, because we passed through Sahara Desert. All those deserts, they were just locking us in a room, before we get to Sabah, from Sabah to Gatron, before we now get to Tripoli. So at the end of the day, the person that now took me, in Nigeria, it is different here entirely. What they told me in Nigeria was not what I met at Libya. They told me that when I get there, they will feed me well, I will enjoy myself. When I now got there, they now changed the situation for me.
Stay at home is our advice to young people.
They have to buckle up since they are here now, because some of my colleagues that are there too, that they are here, I sat them down. I'm not telling them, don't let us move anywhere. Let's achieve something.
Migration can have positive as well as negative effects on the life of the migrants. But many Nigerians believe government should live up to the task of building a society where every citizen can thrive instead of seeking greener pastures abroad. Bukola Jo Ketuli, Channels Television News.
The Islamic State is claiming that it has killed 10 Nigerian soldiers in an attack on the northeastern town of Magumeri in Borno State, northern Nigeria. The group says the attack on the soldiers took place on Friday, while news agency Reuters is reporting that its sources in the army have confirmed the attack, but Channels Television has not independently verified this claim, as the military authorities are yet to confirm this attack. The terrorist group is also claiming that it has killed some soldiers and raided local shops. The Islamic State for West African province ISWAP has carried out a string of attacks in Nigeria in recent months. Now let's turn our attention to the plight of children in this part of the world. The International Labour Organization, ILO, has set up a framework to eliminate child labour in Nigeria, Mali, Malawi, Cote d'Ivoire, Egypt and Uganda. This, according to the country director, Mr. Dennis Zulu, has become imperative owing to the high incidence of child labor, especially in the mining and agricultural sectors.
Child labor has been described as an issue that destroys the health, development and education of children. The consequences of child labor in Nigeria cannot be overestimated. Children between the ages of 5 to 17 years old are economically and physically enticed or even forced into performing certain tasks that are likely to harm and interfere with their health and education. At this meeting organized by the International Labour Organization, emphasis is placed on how to curtail the practice involving about 43% of children, especially in the mining and agricultural sectors.
Children in Nigeria engage in the worst forms of child labor, including work in quarry, granite and gravel extraction, commercial sexual exploitation and armed conflict. I'm certain you can relate to this, and I'm sure as people who are involved in this area, you very much appreciate the fact that there's still quite a lot of work to be done in this case, because still our children are working, and in most cases in the worst forms.
Reports say the informal sector is largely responsible for this high number of children involved in child labor. Representatives of the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association frown at this, promising to do their best to check the trend.
Having identified the informal sector as the major area where there is actually the need for us to intensify efforts and ensure that national legislations and international conventions with regards to elimination of child labor is enforced down the line there, we are very keen to discuss and engage on the likely way out.
The NLC, we have held a lot of campaign, sensitization and awareness on different occasions because the child labor is a complete total problem in our land. And the only way to contain this problem is to continue to work to sensitize our populace.
While issues of child labor persist in Nigeria and Africa, experts are hopeful that the development of new policies and laws will help check the trend.
I'd also like to invite to the high table.
The politics now. The Action Democratic Party has announced the expulsion of its former National Secretary, Dr. James Okuruma, and 16 other members of the party for alleged anti-party activities. This forms part of the decisions taken at the party's 7th National Executive Committee meeting in the nation's capital, Abuja. The National Secretary of the party, Dr. Steve Waze, says the expelled officers, which includes 5 members of the party's National Working Committee, were found guilty of causing disaffection within the party.
With Article 52.1 of the ADP Constitution, the following officers have been expelled from the party as a result of anti-party activities, insubordination, and causing disaffection and division among members. Subject to the provision of the party constitution, Ethics and Values Council shall jointly with NEC dissolve all state executive committee, all local government executive committee, all ward executive committee, all polling unit executive committee, and appoint all caretaker committees to run the party until another executive committee is elected, provided that the period from this dissolution to the election of a new executive committee shall not exceed 3 months.
When the news at 10 returns, Securities and Exchange Commission partners with Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission on the implementation of the Competition and Consumer Protection Act 2019. That's on Business News. Join us again.